will his next opponent be? Will he have an opponent this weekend? Will there be fight? Well, I'm delighted now to say we're joined by someone who should be fighting. He's on the undercard this weekend. Friend of the show, the wonderful Johnny the Romford Bull Fisher joins us. Johnny, hello.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Darren. Hope you're both well.
How you doing, boss? You all right?
We're very well. How are you and where are you?
I'm at home in my bedroom, chilling out. Just done a bit of training, been to the physio, so just relaxing. So I've got to spend a few minutes talking to you guys, which is not a problem at all.
Oh, that's very good. He's great. And
He's
we love
great.
Johnny. So, Johnny, what's the latest that you understand? Will you be fighting? Is there fighting happening this weekend?
Well, I've just got a text a couple of hours ago, going to the hotel tomorrow. All like the media stuff we've got to do. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I've not been told any different. I've been preparing as if I'm fighting. So it's nothing. I know they're looking for the opponent, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still fighting.
Do you know who you're fighting?
Yeah, Harry Armstrong. I've known for about 6 to 8 weeks.
No. Sorry, the only reason I asked that is I know it was going to be Harry Armstrong, but I didn't know if because we don't know who AJ's fighting and the fact that, for argument's sake, Gerald Washington's meant to be fighting Chisora and one of those might step up. I didn't know if you might then step up to fight, for argument's sake, Chisora or whatever. I didn't know if that was uncertain at the moment.
Well, when it first got announced that Dillian's failed a drugs test and they need an opponent, my initial reaction was, do I say it? Do I say I'll fight it and try and save the show so we can all keep going forward? But then I thought, I don't want to come across arrogant. I don't want to come across as if I'm getting above my station. There's 4 other heavyweights on that card as well. But yeah, if there's any jostling about, no problem. I'll happily jostle about if needed.
Johnny, how damaging is this to not only the boxing but the heavyweight division? When you look at what's going on with Fury and the whole fighting a former UFC fighter, and then you've now got Dillian Whyte failing another drugs test. How damaging is it for the heavyweight division and the sport?
It's undoubtedly, it's so damaging. It is unbelievably damaging. If I'm just thinking of talking to the average guy who's not an in-depth boxing fan but loves his sport, and they're just going to disenfranchise people. It's just, and we don't know. Obviously, Dillian's come out and said that he has no recollection of how this happened, etc., etc. So I'm not blaming him or saying it's final, but it's just another nail in the coffin, which is it's letting people lose hope a bit. Heavyweight boxing, it's not a good look.
Listen, you're in the industry, so it's difficult for you to criticise fellow boxers. I understand that. Yeah. I'm not, so I can. And I think that whenever a boxer gets caught taking a banned substance, I don't know if it's ignorance or arrogance, but I just think they deserve all they get. There's no way they can get around it. They're going to get caught. They get numerous blood samples taken leading up to the fight. They've only got themselves to blame. You know, you're responsible for what goes in your mouth, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So if it's you know they go through with it and he doesn't box again or he can't get his license back and so on, he's only got himself to blame. Do you think this could potentially be the end of his career?
It could be purely on the fact if he gets a ban. I think Dillian's 35, 36 now. That puts him at another year down the line. Would he have the hunger to come back again? But can I just add to that? I don't know. Obviously, there's got to be a due process that's gone through. But if someone does intentionally take drugs and is found guilty of doing that, I think they should be banned for life, because this isn't running, this isn't cricket, this isn't football. Yeah. We're going in there to do physical damage to people. And if someone's intentionally taken drugs, I think it's one of the highest forms of cowardice you can ever do or be a part of.
Absolutely. And Johnny, listen, well said. Again, for yourself, who's obviously still fighting at the weekend, all systems go. I know you've still got a job to do, and that's obviously to keep moving up the ladder, keep trying to get your ranking a little bit higher so you can obviously start fighting for European world titles, etc. But does it take a little bit of shine off the event at the weekend, because obviously the main event has been somewhat tainted?
It does for everyone else. Listen, it would have been a great spectacle to see Joshua Whyte face off again. We know how good the first fight was, and it captured a little bit of the general public as well. But for me, it doesn't change anything. I've got to go and fight Harry Armstrong, whether that's at York Hall, Wembley, or the O2. It doesn't matter to me. All I've got to do is concentrate on winning, and I've got to do 10 rounds to win. So it makes no odds to me. Whether if this show gets cancelled and we fight in 3 weeks' time, it doesn't matter. I've just got to be ready at all times.
If it does get cancelled, what happens to your pay?
I don't get paid. Okay.
And, do you think, Johnny, that boxers should have written in their contracts that if a fight is cancelled due to a fault that's down to them, in this case failing a drugs test, they should be responsible for some kind of monetary value?
I don't know if we're at that stage where that's possible. In an ideal world, yeah, that would be great. But it's just one of them things. Like, everyone's got pros and cons of their job. part of our job is there's a lot of element of lottery and things coming off. I remember even as an amateur, you could turn up to fights and people don't turn up. It's just one of them things with boxing. There's so many variables and so many things that can go wrong in the build-up that it's just one of them things. We've got lots of pros of being professional boxers, but that's one of the cons. Things don't always pan out correctly.
Do you think, though, boxers are less likely to take a chance in taking banned substances if they know that if they get caught, they might have to pay up, £500,000 or £1 million?
There needs to be some sort of form of deterrent to try and stop this from happening, because it is happening quite frequently. I don't know. And it seems to be that you can fail a test and then you can come back and then they can say, oh no, you've been cleared. Does that mean we need to look at the testing process? Do we need to make that more rigorous? Or because if that's the case, then we need to look into the whole process. How valid are the tests? If we can look at tests and say they've failed a test, but then you still come back and be clear. There's so many different variables that need to be looked at. It's not for me to say how it's done. It's just I'm the guy, and there's other people on this bill who are now in a bit of shtuck because now we might not be fighting. There is a possibility that we don't, and there's people who've paid massive amounts of money for training camps, for sparring, stuff like that, and it all comes out of our pocket.
So, Johnny, going back to yourself now, you're fighting obviously this weekend. Hopefully that's still on. I mean, what are you expecting from this fight? And is this another step up in quality?
Yeah, this is a step up in quality for sure. Harry Armstrong's a big guy, 6'6", can box pretty well. And I've sparred him before. I only sparred 4 rounds, but I was confident in that spar. I know it's only sparring, so you don't read into it too much. But I think I've just got too much physicality, too much freshness, and too much intensity. And I've got the boxing skills as well. And I'm hoping with an opponent like this, I can show that little bit of skill that I've got, because I think the higher the level the opponent, this is the same for me in sparring, seems to be the better that I spar.
Johnny, listen, we hope the fight goes ahead for so many reasons. One, of course, so you have a payday. 2, we're big fans of yours, and we think you've got a great future ahead of you. So we hope this will be, I think it'll be win number 10, actually. So good luck with that. We absolutely adore speaking to you. We love the relationship we've got with you as well. So thank you for coming. How's your dad, by the way? Is he all right? Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He's in Cardiff at the minute with my brother and some of the events people. He's going to start doing DJ sets around the country. So he's not just going to throw prawn crackers now. He's actually going to do something useful and play the music as well.
Oh my! I've heard he's going to be presenting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as well next year. Is that right?
That'd be interesting. But no, yeah, he's plodding along. He's surviving. That's the main thing.
Good. That is the main thing. Listen, we hope you survive the weekend. I'm sure you will. You're a superstar in the making. Thanks so much for coming on. A real pleasure.
Cheers,
as always.
Johnny.
All the best.
Thanks, man. There you go, Johnny, the One for Ball Fisher. Hopefully fighting this weekend.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, he looks fantastic from the 9 fights we've seen. I've not seen all 9, but I've seen certainly the last 3. He looks great. I hope he has another win this weekend. Then 10, all of a sudden 10 to 15, you start doing things, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I asked him about the step up. But you're right, it must be a bit derailing. I get it. Like, I know he's still got a job to do, but you know, when you're part of a massive card and it's just like everything's exciting, it's all fireworks, fans from everywhere, then all of a sudden, like, you can't tell me there's going to be the same enthusiasm if AJ fights Chisora than it would have been if he fights White.
I would watch the Dillian Whyte fight. If it was Chisora, I wouldn't watch it.
I'd probably still watch it, but I know the outcome of that fight.
You've still got that dodgy stream.
What?
Huh? Be round. I'm joking, everyone.